Hi everyone, I'm Dom Griffin, I'm a film critic and you're watching the Armchair Auteur. This is an ongoing video series I do where we talk about new movies, old movies, screenplay analysis, television series reviews, that sort of thing. So if you like movies, you like movie adjacent popular culture, and you want to see somebody pick those things apart, you are in the right place and you should consider subscribing. Today I'm reviewing The Matrix Resurrections, the fourth film in the Matrix series. I got to see this movie a few days ago before it came out, and originally, before I watched it, I was going in thinking I was going to do this video like a week from now. I thought, let me wait till it hits HBO Max, let me be able to watch it a couple of times at home, really get in there with my magnifying glass and do sort of like a more meticulous, detailed, long-form video that goes into all of the Easter eggs and picks apart the visual motifs and all that, you know, just typical sort of clickbait type of stuff. But then I watched the movie and it's not really that kind of movie. It's not really what I expected, and it's not even really what I hoped for, but I loved it all just the same. I saw The Matrix for the first time on home video when I was like 13 years old. I'd seen it from the last act onward, walking in on my mom watching it, and then watched it back over from the beginning, and then, you know, several more times after that. To me, it's the most perfect movie of its kind since the first Star Wars. And to be frank, no movie since has come close to matching its raw pop art power. I saw The Matrix Reloaded opening night and absolutely loved every minute of it, even if subsequent viewings made me resent a lot of the film's ambition. It would be years and years of flip-flopping opinions during revisits of the film before I would find true inner peace about what it represented and how I didn't need it to be as perfect as its predecessor to connect to it. It lacked the precision and functionality of that first film, but its emotional and spiritual depths, in many ways for me, meant more than any of my gripes about its messiness and incongruity ever could. Somehow, by the time The Matrix Revolutions came out, I saw it at a midnight screening in the middle of the week, and no one else I knew at school went, so I had a couple of days with no one to talk to about the movie. Thinking back to that brief little hermetically sealed zone I found myself in, free from any discourse about the movie, save for whatever Harry Knowles wrote on AICN, I feel a specific kind of nostalgia. Because by the time you see this review, The Matrix Resurrections will be out in theaters and on HBO Max, readily accessible to be watched by any and everyone, and I think this movie is going to get chewed up by accelerated online discourse, then spat out with all the retweet-seeking vitriol social media so fosters. Which is a shame, because I think it's one of the most touching and enjoyable films of the year. I don't want to spoil too much about the movie, but it's not because I am afraid of the spoiler phobes out there who hate having things ruined for them. It's not that kind of movie. Like, the plot is not really a plot. I can tell you every little detail of what happens in order, and it wouldn't necessarily affect your enjoyment of the movie, but I still feel like it's the sort of thing that you should just try to experience yourself. If you've seen the first trailer for The Matrix Resurrections, you already know that Keanu Reeves is back as Neo, that Carrie-Ann is back as Trinity, and that Yahya Abdul-Mateen has replaced Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus. The film in many ways feels like a retelling of the original, but that's just the surface of the thing. A misdirect on top of a misdirect that feels like Lana Wachowski poking fun at herself and everyone involved who even wants this movie to exist, when it decidedly shouldn't. Something you should know about me before you watch the rest of this video is that I will defend the Wachowskis until the day I fucking die. I love the Matrix films. I love Bound. I watch Speed Racer at least once a year to cry during the opening race and every subsequent Racer X moment in the entire film.
I just hope when you do, that I'm there to see it.
I saw Jupiter Ascending in theaters and I don't even regret it.
I create life!
It is my honest feeling that they should be allowed to make whatever movies they want forever, even if the United States government has to fund it with our tax dollars.
I have done nothing wrong, ever, in my life.
I know this, and I love you.
My cursory read on the movie is that Warner Brothers was going to make a new Matrix movie, by hook or by crook, with or without the Wachowskis, and Lana saw an opportunity here that Lily did not. That she could Trojan horse a very personal story within the framework of delivering the studio the IP regurgitation they desperately wanted.
This is not IP I'm familiar with.
And with the finished product, I can't tell if they just stayed out of her way and let her fuck around, or if she was performing some kind of deft high-wire act.
But whatever you do, stay the hell away from marketing.
In practice, The Matrix Resurrections will immediately call to mind some other pop cultural touchstones outside the original trilogy's sphere of influence. There's some serious Lost Season 6 vibes, specifically with regards to the sideways timeline from the series' final act. My man J5 correctly called the film's debt to Metal Gear Solid 2, right down to Neo basically being Hideo Kojima for much of the film's first third. The movie is such an aggressively meta and playful exercise, and it's doing so in such a defiant and carefree manner.
Nothing comforts anxiety like little nostalgia.
This feels like a movie that is laughing at even the abstract idea of a new Matrix movie. And it's a movie that knows exactly what you want from a new Matrix movie, and it has no fucking intentions of giving it to you whatsoever. The last genuinely great Kanye West album, Yeezus, opened with a track called On Site, produced by Ye and Daft Punk, that was such a loud, shrill electronic screed that it instantly turned people off from riding the high of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. But embedded within that was a gorgeous gospel sample with the lyrics, "He'll give us what we need, but it may not be what we want." It's my favorite moment in the entire album, and one I've been thinking about a lot lately. This past weekend, Spider-Man No Way From Home made $260 million domestic. It was the biggest movie of the year already in 3 days. We got very slammed at work. Other theaters got hit way harder than us. It's a humongous hit. And as much fun as I had when I watched it in my press screening, and as nice as it was to see like genuine glee and joy on exiting filmgoers' faces when they saw it this weekend, I haven't been able to shake a lot of concerns about it. Like, I literally derailed my Nightmare Alley review last week because I was still thinking about this fucking stuff. But it's wild to me watching The Matrix Resurrections in the wake of Spider-Man opening weekend. The press screening I went to got bumped out of the IMAX house at Regal because they needed it for extra showings of Spider-Man No Way Home. They gotta make money. And I tried to get a root beer at the press screening because I was very thirsty. And literally every soda that was not Diet Pepsi was out of stock, which I've been working in movie theaters for like 13 years. Very, very rare thing to see, just in general. Every employee I interacted with looked like Kendall Roy in season 2 of Succession, just utterly hollowed out. And as the discourse surrounding the death of theatrical diversity rages on and becomes even more palpable, The Matrix Resurrections feels so perfect for this moment. It is a movie that is coloring way outside the lines of the binaries the original film dealt with, instead painting a more colorful, more vivid, more fluid portrait about reality, and more importantly about fiction and how important collective dreaming is for the human experiment. It largely eschews and even seems to poke fun at the grandiosity of the original sequels, choosing instead to be a little more lighthearted and a lot less self-serious in its depiction of this ever-evolving world and our favorite characters' place in it. The same way the John Wick franchise capitalized on Keanu's elder statesman status and the sad Keanu meme to craft a tragic tale of revenge, leveraging his off-screen persona, The Matrix Resurrections gets miles of drama and interest out of Keanu and Carrie-Ann Moss's palpable chemistry as the cool Gen X couple we all wish would adopt us or tell us they love our vibe from across the bar. Neo and Trinity's love story is the beating heart of this movie, and it hit me so much harder than I ever could have expected. I went to this movie wanting to see the kind of wild and incomparable action the freeway sequence of Matrix Reloaded provided, and look, if you really want to see that type of thing, that level of excess, check out the Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine demo. Because this just isn't that kind of movie. Much of the action actually feels purposely rote until the final act's revelatory set piece, and much of the reason it works so well is because of the emotional undercurrent driving it, not just because it looks and feels so exciting. Even though I was very underwhelmed by the action, by the way the Morpheus recasting doesn't really go anywhere, by some of the goofier elements within the movie for when it tries to go comedic, there's more than a handful of things in the film that I was kind of like tepid on, I'll say. I still left satisfied. I felt sated. I cried multiple times. It was a reminder that blockbusters can be personal, and that they don't have to end in these like identical, illegible puddles of CGI madness. Glenn Greenwald had a very stupid tweet this past week about Oliver Stone and about how, in his mind, Oliver Stone's career was ruined because of the release of JFK, when in reality, everyone who's ever watched a movie knows that Oliver Stone spent the rest of the 90s making like some of the most personal movies that a studio had funded ever for like the rest of his career. Then those movies mostly failed financially, and that's kind of what ruined his career. I'm no Ollie stan, alright? Like, I like some Oliver Stone movies, not all of them. I'm kind of hot and cold with the guy. And I'm not some sycophant obsessed with the auteur theory, okay? But we don't live in a world where Oliver Stone could still get those movies made, okay? And every movie this year that really, really moved me, that like really got me, the one thing all those movies have in common is that there was a filmmaker at the helm who was allowed and given space and funding to tell the story they wanted to tell the way they kind of wanted to tell it. And that they were putting those impulses and those urges and those feelings and those emotions ahead of any kind of like brand management or franchise maintenance or care for value for the shareholders. And coming out of The Matrix Resurrections, I am sure that this movie is getting shit on Twitter right now. Like, if you're watching this video, I know that right now there's probably an out of context clip that someone's turned into a meme. There's probably weird screenshots of Jonathan Groff's face or something. Like, I know there's just stuff that people are going to pull from the movie out of context and turn it into fodder for engagement, because that's what happens when major movies get dropped on streaming. That's just, that's how people don't really take time to actually watch the movie and enjoy it, they fire it up and they pull their phone out and they go to work and like, hey, I get it, more power to you. We all like likes and retweets. There's gonna be so much bad faith criticism out there. Not to say that if you don't like the movie, it means that something's wrong with you. I'm just saying that so much of what you're going to see, I know for a fact, is gonna be people just shitting on it for fun, you know, like for sport, and like wondering why it wasn't whatever they really wanted. Not understanding that's not how storytelling works. Everything isn't going to be No Way Home, where a corporation gets together with another corporation and makes a carefully curated bullet list of things that are gonna give fans boners and then just gives it to you. Like that's not how films should be made. Again, I'm not saying Spider-Man No Way Home is bad. It's fun, I get it, but that can't be the only thing that moves the needle anymore. Like it's not healthy for us. Because even though I had some gripes, minor gripes, like I don't even, like nothing that even feels worth expanding upon with The Matrix Resurrections, it felt like a breath of fresh air. You know, like when it was over, I felt really good. I had a really bad day, and after that, I felt fine. You know, I felt like transported, like you're supposed to. It didn't feel like someone just spamming me with stuff they thought I wanted to see. It was me receiving something that I didn't know I needed. And I'm grateful for that. I loved The Matrix Resurrections. It immediately leapfrogged into like my top 5 movies of the year. I cannot wait to watch it again. I cannot wait to watch it again with more friends. I cannot wait to see my friends' feelings about it. I can't wait to talk to more people about it. Please, I know that people are very spoiler phobic, but if you've seen the film and you're watching this video, anything you think about the movie or want to discuss, please do it in the comments below. I want to talk to more people about this movie, particularly if they have equally fond feelings about the movie. I just don't want to have to wait onto the cesspool of Twitter to see really lame jokes and corny memes about it. I just, that's not the mood I'm in. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, this would be a great time to subscribe. You can hit the little bell icon. You'll get notifications whenever I put out new videos. You'll be the first to see my new takes if you like them. And like I said, comments, let's talk about this movie. Let's talk about The Matrix. Let's talk about all this stuff. That's what I really want to do. I loved this movie. Can't wait to see more of it. And I really appreciate you guys watching this video and taking the time to engage in it with me. And I hope that you take the time to see this movie if you can. If you don't feel comfortable going to the theaters, you don't want to get the Amarian variant, I respect that. It is on HBO Max, and I think it'll still look good at home. It's a very, very pretty movie. Thank you all for watching. Hope everyone's doing well, staying safe, being good to yourselves and each other. I will see you very soon in the next couple of days.